Most immigrant families come to the US with big dreams, with stability, living debt free, and being able to take care of their kids better than they were before. However, at the end of the day, they most likely come thinking about the American dream, which it does not end in freedom. It does not end in freedom. It ends in debt, a lot of debt that you spend the rest of your life paying off for yourself, and possibly you may put that thought in your kids' heads as well, where they think that paying off debt, getting a house loan, getting a car loan is what they are supposed to be doing as they turn the age of 18. We're going to look into some of the mistakes that immigrant families make when they move to the US, and most importantly, we're gonna speak about ways to avoid those mistakes. Okay, so we're going to go into a story. You have this person, Juan, right? He came to the US. He got loans, for cars, house, even personal loans. And then at the end of the day, he is in debt. He's paying a lot in interest. And on the outside, he looks like, yeah, he is making it. He made it. But at the end of the day, he's in debt. He's working possibly paycheck to paycheck, because almost half, if not more than half, of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That's just the cycle of what's happening now. And above that, most persons can't afford a house at the moment. Houses are extremely expensive. So you have to go into it thinking about what the cost of stuff are, what the interest will be at the end of the day, how many you will be paying for these stuff. And I get it. We're trying to provide, we're trying to fit in, we're trying to succeed. But at the end of the day, these trying to be like others is not helping us. It is silently draining us, silently killing us, especially if you're working 2 jobs, 3 jobs to pay off these bills, maybe just the minimum, so you'll be doing that for years. That won't work out for us. So I know that we're trying to do better, we're trying to be better, but we have to actually get some financial education of how things work and how we should go about doing stuff. Mistake number 1 is jumping into credit cards without understanding interest. That's one of the biggest things. When I just came here, that's the first thing I was told. Oh, get a credit card, you need to build your credit score. America runs off credit. If you don't know how to use a credit card, don't get a credit card. Just don't. Because there are multiple factors of getting a credit card and building your credit score that you need to know before you actually go into getting your credit card. For one, I am not the biggest fan of debt. I do have a credit score right now, and it's because when I just came here, I got a credit card. So I only have one credit card that I built that credit score with, and I'm going to use that credit score towards getting a house in the future for myself. But outside of like getting a house or something like that, actually that's the only thing that I see the need to get a credit card for, to get a credit score for actually. So going into car loans and going into personal loans, any of those stuff, I'm not for that. So the only reason I would use a credit score is to get a mortgage. Here's a trap with credit scores. First of all, with credit cards, it can feel like free money. It is not. If you don't have that money in your bank account, don't use it because you don't have it. So you have to know how to use the credit card. You can't be using $500 on a credit card per month and then you don't have that money to pay it off at the end of the month. You need to have the money in your account if you're going to use the card. If you don't have the money, don't use the card. Period. If you don't have the money and you need something, not want, and you need something, that means you might need to look another job. You might need to move on from the job that you're working at or get a side hustle. It depends on what you're doing, right? You got to look into other alternative than going into that. Many families think as long as they're paying something, they're okay. But the truth is, high interest are on these credit. They'll be like, you have credit cards with 17% interest rates and all of that. That at the end of the day, like we can go into calculations. Maybe you have $1,000 in debt. You're paying minimum monthly. At the end of the year, your debt actually goes up by a little bit because of the interest. You got to look into a lot of stuff before you actually get a credit card to build your credit score if you choose that route, because you don't actually need a credit score to get a mortgage. And for me, that's what I would use a credit score for. You don't need a credit score to get a mortgage. You don't need a credit score to get rent, to be a renter or something like that. Like the main stuff. And as I said, I am not for getting debt as in a car loan, personal loans, anything like that. I'm for saving and making your money and then using that money and make it work for you. Mistake number 2 is living for today, ignoring tomorrow. Celebrating small wins is fine, but living only for today and not for tomorrow is risky. It's very dangerous. Some families spend bonuses, tax refund, and those stuff on non-essential items. Items such as going out, or they think it's like extra money that they made, which in regards to tax refunds, you already made that money. It's your money. You just paid the government too much. That's just it. You just paid the government too much, so they're giving some back to you. But with those money, you can invest it. You can do more meaningful stuff with it than using it as, an extra income that you can use to buy a new handbag, buy a new shoes. That makes no literal sense. Like, I get it. You might like stuff and it's like, it's free money. And it's not. It's not free money. You worked for it. You can use that money to do savings, investments, and even help building your emergency fund, because your emergency fund is also something that you need. It's a safety net for you for any emergency, actual emergencies. Without a safety net, one unexpected medical bill or car repair, job loss can wipe you out. So the lesson is to enjoy life, but always plan for the future. Mistake number 3, equating credit with freedom. Many immigrant families think having more credit means having more power, but that's not the case. Credit is a tool, not a trophy. Using credit to finance your lifestyle, you can't afford, because if you're using credit to finance it, that's debt that you're using to finance your lifestyle. Using credit to finance a lifestyle you can't afford keeps you in a cycle of dependency. Real freedom comes from controlling your money. Real freedom comes from controlling your money, not borrowing to live someone else's life. Then we're going to go into mistake number 4, and that is ignoring financial education. We are taught how money works: loan, investment, interest, taxes. Nobody explained it clearly. Lack of financial literacy can lead to bad decisions, and it's because of the ignorance of the situation. The good thing though is knowledge is free, and small steps can help to build you over time. Now that we know the mistakes, just let's us talk about how to avoid them. So, number one, if you choose to use credit, use it responsibly. Only spend what you can pay off in full and track interest carefully. If it's not in your account, don't spend it because you don't have it. So, number two, plan for tomorrow. Create an emergency fund, add money to savings, add to retirement, and invest in assets, not liabilities. Number three, shift your mindset from borrowing to building. Treat your money as a tool to freedom and not as a way to impress others. Number four, learn continuously. Watch financial videos, preferably from someone you trust. Then do your research. Do your research. So, like for videos like these, if I tell you something, you don't believe it, go and do your research. Do your own research and see like what is actually happening out there. Like, know your financial stuff. So here's the key point: mistakes aren't your destiny. Being an immigrant doesn't mean you're doomed to debt. Awareness is power. The moment you identify these traps, you can take control. You can stop repeating the cycle and start building security that lasts a lifetime. Building wealth. And wealth doesn't always mean just financially either. It doesn't have to be just financial stuff that you give down to your generation. It could be mental stuff. It could be things like teaching them how to live a better life, and eventually they will be where you wanted to be, or you eventually end up. Your family deserves more than survival. Don't just be out there surviving. They deserve stability, peace of mind, and the freedom to make decisions without money controlling them. If this video helped you see the traps that we are currently going through as immigrants, please make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification, share the video to someone who you think needs this information. It doesn't have to be immigrants. This channel can be for anyone. I'm just focusing on specifically an aspect that immigrants face. But financially, anyone can be helped with these videos. Comment down below. I want to hear what are the mistakes that you've made, maybe the changes that you have done, or things that maybe you are going to implement, maybe due to this video or what you've heard or seen. Comment down below and let's talk about that. Don't miss the next video where we dive into changing your money mindset as an immigrant, because freedom starts not just with avoiding mistakes, but with thinking differently about money. Quote of the day: the biggest mistake isn't earning too little, it's giving away your future to debt. The Bible scripture is Romans 13, verse 8. Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another.